Hey guys, Fred here, VE3FAL, Ontario Northwest Bushcrafter and Outdoors. Today we are going to do the G90 firmware upgrade. So I just want to show you guys quickly how to go through this and how to do it. When you download the RAR file, everything is there, including the instructions that you can print out how to do it. It is the same idea as the X5105, and it uses TerraTerm, Hyperterminal, a program to do the upgrades. There is an upgrade for the head unit as well as for the main unit. You can see here just in the diagram that we go to the USB serial cable interface plugs into here on the radio, or we can see the little guy underneath the headphones, and on the back of the radio we use the COM port. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, I'm going to plug the cable in. I will do the head first. The radio is always turned off until you get ready to rewrite, and what happens is you have to be extremely quick on the space key. It counts down extremely quickly. You've only got a matter of a couple seconds. You have to hit the space key as soon as you turn the power on in order to do the overwrite, and then I'll show you how to do the transfer of the new software. So what we're going to do first, of course, is we're going to hook the cable up to the head unit. Okay, once we've got the cable hooked up to the head unit, what we're going to do is we're going to sign into our computer. Okay, all right. Try to get you guys into place here so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so I have a folder, which I call G90 files. Once again, the radio should be turned off before we do any upgrades. Alright, open up my G90 folder. As we can see here, we've got all kinds of information. The TerraTerm folder is here as well. Try to get you guys in a better spot. Alright. The upgrade firmware package is here. So we have a display unit, which is the front panel, and a main unit. They're version 1.04, and that's what should be displayed in the radio after the transfer has taken place. And those are the that's the software that we're going to send, or the firmware that we're going to send to the radio. So there's also update instructions how to do it. As I said, you can print them out. Firmware notes. This will tell you what the firmware is going to fix and repair. So the release notes here is that it fixes the tuner. I was having issues with the tuner tuning the antenna, so they fixed that in CW. Corrected CW auto key ratio adjustments. The default ratios for CW as well. Noise blanker they also put in, and they added a squelch icon, and they fixed the bug in the compressor of the G90. And as I said, once it's said and done, we should see version 1.4 on the head and 1.4 on the base. So what we are going to do is we're going to open up TerraTerm. So we're going to open up TerraTerm, the application. We should be using COM port 5, and if we look here, it does say COM port 5, so it has already seen COM port 5 on the USB cable. I didn't have to load any drivers. Now, as I said, when we turn the radio on, we have to be extremely quick on the space key because the timer counts down extremely fast. So it gives me 2 seconds, and I have to do it again. I wasn't fast enough. So we're going to try it again. Alright, give me a second here. Let me make sure I have the setup correct. Serial port, COM port 5, 115,200 baud. Alright, try it again. We are doing the head unit. There we go. So as soon as I turn the power on, I hit the space key on the computer. This is what comes up. So I have two options. I can exit option 2, or I can update the firmware. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the firmware, but what it does is it erases it. So I hit 1, and we can see that it's erasing. Okay, now it's waiting for firmware files. So what you have to do is you go into File. We're going to go to Transfer. All right, we're going to go into X modem, and we're going to go to Send. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for the file that we wish to send to the radio. As I said, I have it under the G90 files. So we're going to go to Upgrade Firmware, and we're doing the display unit. All right, so we're going to do display unit. I'm going to hit Open. All right, once I hit Open, we're going to see that it sends the data to the radio. The display is blank at the moment while it's sending that data to the unit. In the latest Terra term, they already have the 1K button clicked on to send the data. So we've updated the firmware to the head, so we can see that we have the head working already. The radio is back on. So now what we're going to do is we are going to attempt to do the upgrade to the main unit. So now what I have to do is I have to go to the back of the radio, to the COM port that I showed you guys in the picture. So I'm going to unplug this. I'm going to go to COM, which is orange, with the cable that Xiegu has provided. Okay, so once again, I have to be extremely fast, all right, with the space key, almost as soon as I turn the power on. All right, so you can see that it came up when I hit the space key. As soon as I turn power on, you got 5 seconds. I'm going to tell you it's a fast 5 seconds. So we want to update the firmware, which means we want to erase what's in there now. So I'm going to hit 1, and we can see that it's erasing it. So it is erasing the firmware in the radio itself. Alright, now it's waiting for the firmware. So once again, I go up to File. I'm going to transfer the new firmware. I use X modem, and I use Send. As I said, the 1K is already checked off for you. We want to do the main unit. We hit Open, and now it's going to send, and we can see that it's sending the G90 main unit firmware to the radio. The file is a little bit larger. So this firmware will add some of the newest things to the radio itself. Now, excuse me. It says it's completed. It says to reboot your rig. So what I found is I need to, we can see here that it says Comm Lost on the radio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the power off. Alright. I'm going to unplug the cable from the back. Let's see what happens here. So this is what I experienced earlier. I get a Comm Lost. So what I have to do is I'm going to turn the radio off. I actually unplugged the power from the back. Now I'm sure this is just a glitch that they need to work on in the boot segment of the upgrading. I'm going to put the power back in, turn the power on. Okay, you can hear it working in the radio. It seems to take a minute. Okay. Then if I go to here, hold the function button, hit next, it tells me that I have the 1.4 is the version of software for the main body. and it also tells me that I have 1.4, or I have 1.4 for the base, and I have 1.4 for the head. So the transfer did go properly. All right. So I'm going to turn power off again. Turn the power off. All right. And turn power back on. Okay. Now a new feature that's in here is that I can actually enter in my call sign. So what I do is I hold the VFO memory button, and it will allow me to enter my call sign. So I scroll to the letters. I push the tuning button for the first letter. Just like the 5105. Where's the numbers? Okay. And I believe this will be used down the road too for the memory key. I'm going to save it. So now it's been saved. So when I power off, it says bye. And when I power on, my call sign can be seen there. So that's just a quick video on how to do the firmware upgrade. As I said, there is a little bit of an issue, it seems, with it losing its comms, and what I found is I have to disconnect the main power right from the radio. I'll leave it for 30 seconds or a minute, plugged it back in, turn the radio back on, and then the newest firmware seems to take okay. As well, the tuner seems to tune today. As I said, they fixed that, and they also put in go to CW mode. Let's try the tuner. Tune quick. I don't have the key plugged in. You can adjust the bandwidth as well with your high and low. For your bandwidth, depending on your settings, what you would do is you would change your high or change your low, and the difference between the high and the low is going to give you your setting. Oh yes, sorry, I have to hit the function button first, and high, so we can adjust this to where we want. Alright, and if we go high, you can hear it open up. So 18, our low, noise blanker functions. So right now I've got a bandwidth of 1200. That's W6RKE on 14.055. Alright guys, thanks for watching. So this is Fred, VE3FAL, Ontario Northwest Bushcraft and Outdoors. Thanks for watching guys.